Hello and welcome to the Trash Talking podcast. Do you like metal and alternative music? What about gigs and festivals? If you also like film and TV, video games, and a healthy dose of 90s nostalgia, I think you just found your favourite podcast. Shall we get to Trash Talking? Yes, hello and welcome to Trash Talking Podcast. I'm your host Stu, or you may know me as SMTV. Today we have a very special guest, heavily influenced me as a content creator on YouTube and here on the podcast, and it was a great pleasure to have him. Such a great guy, really down to earth, and really appreciate him taking the time to come and talk to me on here. So you may know him as Rob Kellas. He's the ringleader of the festival content that we know and love over on YouTube. He's the angel of the north and he's just a great guy. So do enjoy. And if you're new here, please don't forget to leave a 5-star rating on Spotify. It really does go a far way. But before we do get into the episode, I want to take time to thank my incredible patrons, because without you guys, I wouldn't be able to do this day in, day out, week in, week out. And I love it so much, so thank you all. You are all true legends. We have Ethan Brown, Jaggy Sean Schofield, the legendary Alexander Toon, and the one, the only, Vicky Rutter. Because of you guys, I'm able to do this. It is a hobby, but you never know, one day it could turn into something more. It truly would be wonderful if that's the case. So I love you all. You really are the OGs. And one final thing before we get into it, don't forget we do now have a dedicated SMTV and Trash Talking podcast Discord server. If you want to join and chat with some like-minded guys, we talk about everything from festivals, gigs, new music, new movies, TV shows, and just trash talking in between. It really would be great to have you, so head down to the description of this podcast, click on the link, and come and join us. And without further ado, let's get into the episode. Right, welcome Rob Kellas.
Thank you, mate. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. The master of all festivals. You've travelled the world with his brothers and his sister. He's brought us the groundbreaking Hot Twos, and he's here to
innovation.
He's here to talk innovating. That's it. And he's here to talk to me. Fuck knows why, but here he is.
Well, I've got to say thanks to it for having me, because we were obviously meant to do this maybe last week or the week before, and I had to be a real dick and bail on your last minute, and I just wanted to out myself there for being unreliable. Yeah. I apologize.
He's taking ownership at least. I was going to say it's meant to be who the fuck is Rob Kellas? I was going to rename it Where the Fuck is Rob Kellas?
That works. That works for me, mate. Accountability where it's due.
That's it. I appreciate that. So you've not long had another life-changing experience with Burning Man. I'm now realising it's called Burning Man and not Birmingham.
Yes.
Which, to be fair, they're fairly similar. Wasteland with an imminent risk to life.
I've had a good time in both Birmingham and at Burning Man.
Yeah, it looked incredible. Is it your biggest first week of a video to date?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, great.
It did really well. It's hit exactly where the Burning Man video, we had real big dreams for it like being a mega viral hit, and it wasn't. But we also had like a realistic goal as well, that we were like, if it gets to this, I said it out loud to the guys, if it gets to like this certain number in this time, I'll be happy with it. And it's got to that, so I'm very, very happy with it.
Oh, brilliant. I'm glad to hear it. I mean, one previous to that was Coachella. So you just kind of like building, you do the biggie and then you've got to think, oh, what's the next biggie? So have you got one in mind as your next big one?
Not really,
are you allowed to divulge?
No. We actually don't. We in our Burning Man video, Raz, one of the guys, says like, we don't know what's next. And so we've got a lot of suggestions from people, but I think what Burning Man has proved is that like, while it did perform really well, we don't have to necessarily keep going bigger, because like we were trying to capture like the virality of the Coachella video,
Hmm.
and as I mentioned, like it didn't quite hit that level of virality. So it's nice now to know that our Coachella hit was, it was hard work, but it was also kind of a fluke and a lot of luck as well. So knowing that now for a fact,
Hmm.
I there's a lot less pressure to chase like what's the next big thing, because
Yeah.
this did really well, did Burning Man, but it wasn't like a massive thing, and it's kind of a relief, to be honest, because it means we don't have to keep chasing this
Yeah, it
mental.
takes the pressure off a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know what the thing would be, to be honest, to follow that up.
No.
Um, yeah, I honestly don't know. We did Glasgow, that was really good for us. We did Tomorrowland, that was really good for us. There's a few that we've got on like a must attend shared
Yeah.
note that we'll be doing next year. But there's not many really that we think will be like big wins for the channel. It's more now just obviously we want to grow, but we're
Hmm.
really happy where we're at, and if our current audience sticks around in the same size that it tunes in every week, that'll be a win that we can just continue to operate at, which would be great.
Yeah, brilliant. You mentioned the audience. I suspect that doing these, you know, festivals and events overseas, have you noticed that grows your audience with, guys from America all around the world?
Yeah, I guess naturally, if we cover an event that's in a different territory, then
Hmm.
people from that territory are going to discover you. But America's like the big, and I think because we've done quite a lot over there, like America and Germany, we tend to get a lot of recognition from, but it's still like maybe only 20% of the audience, and the rest is all just from
Yeah,
mostly all from the north of England
yeah,
specifically.
the yokels.
That's it. Which I'm happy to be amongst those people.
Yeah, well,
Be
it's
on
nice to
those
be able to
people's
take
screen.
them around the world with you as well. Like,
Yeah, it's
watching
great.
your Malta video earlier, doing some last minute revision,
Mm.
and saying that you're bumping into guys, fans of the channel and everything, even in Malta. So that's got to be nice to be bumping into people, everywhere you
Yeah,
go.
it's class, you know. Obviously, the further afield we go, the less it happens, but it does happen as far afield as we've been, and
Yeah,
it's wild. And the people we met in Malta were just like such a concentration of like sound, like they were all like indie lads and lasses.
yeah, yeah,
But they're in a super good mood because they're on their holidays. They're about to see like one of their favorite artists. So the vibe there was just so nice, and me and Mary had to take a step back and be like, "Are you finding everyone's really fucking nice?"
yeah.
And we were like, "Yeah, yeah." And we were like, "Oh, it's great, isn't it?"
Hmm. No, it just kind of like makes the experience a lot better when you're having these positive, interactions with people, I suppose, and that's
Yeah, absolutely,
mhm,
absolutely. It's a blessing for
yeah,
sure.
no, it's brilliant. So I feel like you're from the same golden era, I'll call it, as me. I mean, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 32.
32.
For
Okay, so
better
I'm
or worse.
29. So you
So we're in the
remember,
same drop
yeah,
down.
yeah. So you trust it. We'd be in the same category on
We
X
would.
Factor. Yeah.
Yeah, we would.
So
Maybe
you
they'd
remember,
buddy us up as a group.
that's it. We'll become the new One Direction. I
There we
like
go.
it.
Two direction
There you go.
writes itself.
It doesn't work. No,
No, we've learned the hard way.
you've learnt the hard way. So you remember Pogs, Tamagotchis, selection boxes at Christmas, all that good stuff.
Yeah, man.
Um,
Pogs were never big for me, but I
no,
remember I remember Tazos, which were very similar.
yes,
Used to get
yeah,
them
yeah.
in bags of crisps.
Hmm.
I've got one knocking about in this room somewhere, a little disc with a little Pokemon on, and you'd get
That's
them in a
it.
bag of crisps, and then you could never open them out of the
Because
packet
they're
because
always
they're
so
covered in.
greasy.
Yeah, yeah. And you know that the reason they stopped doing that is because someone probably ate one.
That's it. Someone had
That's
to
why
ruin it for everyone.
you just don't get like, I mean, you barely get toys with a Happy Meal now, but like you
Hmm.
don't get, not that I've been buying many Happy Meals, but you don't get I'm happy enough, but you don't get like toys in bags of crisps or little treats in bags of crisps anymore, do you?
That's it. Now, I mean, you used to
Barely
get
get
it
bloody
in.
crisps in them nowadays,
I
eh?
know,
You
yeah,
barely get crisps in them.
70% air in these bags of crisps. Now, like this,
It's like a Peter Kay routine,
yeah.
like.
Like the cereal and that. Always used to get random stuff in the cereal, man, and that was like a highlight of younger years. I mean, I'm probably sounding pretty fucking boring now, so I'm saying that's a highlight of my younger years. But
it was the simple things though. I remember you used to
mhm.
get these like Jimmy Neutron spoons
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
with like Wheatos or something, and I saw a guy. Where was I at this weekend? Maybe at Lincoln Park. No, it wasn't that. I was at something recently. Oh, I
Yeah.
was just out. I was just out in Leeds, and I saw a guy who I was chatting to, and he had a load of like vintage Happy Meal toys, like on a carabiner on the back of his bag,
Yeah.
and he wanted to talk to me about like YouTube, and I
Hmm.
was just like, I recognize that Mr. Man toy. I used to have one of them, and I just
Yeah.
kept steering the conversation to that.
Mm. Yeah. On about that, my parents have still got our collection of McDonald's toys. Probably their fault that I'm the size the size I am. But we've got two massive holdalls of the toys. We'll have to delve into them and take a trip down memory lane because it's got to be so nostalgic looking at those again.
Well, yeah, things like that. There's such a fleeting thing in your life at the time. A
Hmm.
McDonald's toy run. I don't know how long a toy run lasts at Mackey's. Maybe like a week, 2 weeks. But
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you see them, they'd be advertised on the TV. You'd see them in McDonald's, and then you'd never think about them for like 15, 20 years.
Hmm.
And then you see like a picture on Twitter. It's like holy shit, and it unlocks like
That's it. Take a
a
trip
whole
down memory
section
lane,
of
then,
you.
don't you?
Yeah, it's great. I'm in a lot of Facebook groups for like nostalgia of like even stuff like here's the Pepsi Max can from 10 years ago, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I remember them.
yeah.
I'm a real sucker for it.
Hmm. No, I'm there with you, definitely. Golden years. And here we are on YouTube. So you're running the game. We are your humble disciples, but
I don't know about that, but that's very kind of you.
no, we appreciate you. We do. But
Thank you.
what channels did you used to watch back in the day that inspired you to do what you want to do? I'm thinking like, I mean, I may potentially guess some early. Rowliam Johnson, PewDiePie. For myself, we've got Syndicate Project, and I'm hoping for yourself is the legendary Marty Schwartz.
Do you know what, mate? Is Syndicate Project is it Tom? Is that Tom?
It is, yeah, yeah.
Um I love Syndicate. I think
Hmm.
Tom seems I've never met Tom, but he seems like a really, really likable guy.
Yeah.
I've only discovered him like my mate Jake Varley
Hmm.
used to watch him.
Yeah.
So he put me onto him, but way late. So I only know like current generation Syndicate.
Gotcha.
Ray William Johnson, loved Ray William Johnson back in the
Hmm.
day. I used to tune into Equals 3. Every episode, it was the
Yeah.
funniest thing in the world.
Hmm.
And I mean, this was like what maybe 2007, 2008, maybe when
Yeah.
I used to
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
that. Um, PewDiePie, I really liked the more recent PewDiePie stuff from like the last 5 years, but I never watched like his Let's Plays or anything. And was it Marty Schwartz?
Yeah. Yeah.
I've that's a name I'm not familiar with,
Oh, you're joking. I was hope
honestly.
I was hoping you'd know him. He's like the one guy that everyone. Well, I was under the impression that everyone learned guitar with.
Let me have a
And
look.
it's, hey guys, I'm Marty Schwartz here. We're gonna learn
Oh, right,
ACDC Back in
okay.
Black.
I can see him here. Yeah,
Yeah.
4 million subs. I've
Hmm.
seen him. I've seen him before. I
Yeah.
didn't watch. I didn't watch much guitar YouTube coming up.
Hmm.
The YouTube I watched in the golden era, like
Yeah.
the formative years of YouTube, was like. I mean, I used to like Smosh.
Hmm.
I used to
Yeah.
like Ray William Johnson. Um, I used to like channels that would just do like little comedy skits that just kind of fizzled out. That was like
Hmm.
an inspiration for me. We used to make like comedy sketches and like rants and stuff. It was funny to like rant at the camera. Some
Hmm.
of my earliest videos, which have been scrubbed off the internet, but I've still got a copy of them. I like ranting about like just basic shit. One's about like why the headphones get tangled up, and it's
Hmm.
like I'm just ranting. It's like 4 in the morning at my mum's. I've snuck down into the kitchen to film this video because I've had this idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Upload it to YouTube.
Everyone
7
needs to
views.
see this. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was the beauty of it, you know. And
Yeah.
there was no motivation other than wanting to create.
Hmm.
And you know, I love what I do now, but we can't say that nowadays. I obviously love creating, but there's a lot more now that we need. There's a lot more reason to create for us because we need to keep, you know, cash coming in, need to keep the viewers happy.
Yeah.
Back then, it was just I'm gonna make a video and I don't care if anyone watches it, and hopefully my friends like it.
Hmm. Yeah, everyone's got to start somewhere, though, haven't they? So, have you been consistent from the very start, or did you suddenly like have a decision where you're like, right, time to do some, time to pick a niche. Let's go for that and see where we go.
I wouldn't know if basically, like, I've been just filming stuff as soon as I was around technology. Like,
Yeah.
I was filming stuff. Our first desktop computer that we got came with we got it as like a bundle. It came with like a shit digital camera, like
Mhm.
the low, like a really early digital camera. And I used to like take stills on that and do stop motion with that. Um, and then so even before YouTube, I was just kind of creating just because that's what I liked doing.
Yeah.
And then we we pivoted into, or I should say, because it was just me at the time. I pivoted into like doing some stupid comedy sketches and rants and some stuff that, as you can imagine, is pretty dated by
Yeah.
today's uh, today's understanding. But you know, and then it would be like me and my friends doing the similar stuff, and then we just started doing like a series called A Day in the Life, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
just like a vlog of a day. And the
Mhm.
unofficial rules for that were it has to be 10 minutes because that was the maximum YouTube would allow, but like make sure you fill the 10 minutes.
Mhm.
And it has to be like one video for one day. Like if you move on to another day, it's a new video. And that's kind of when we started kind of regularly uploading. This was in like 2008.
Oh, okay.
And
As early as 2008.
yeah, so I had a different channel before I had this one that sadly got banned.
Mm.
And it was just like me and my mate Raz, who viewers of our channel will be very familiar with,
Yeah. Top lad.
just sat in his room,
Mhm.
like on the computer, on fucking image boards, watching, just doing note, mate.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
just film a 10-minute video of like, we're doing this. I've recently been going through and rewatching them all as I'm uploading them to the Patreon because they're not. That's not a plug, by the way. But so I'm going through and just sense checking them, and it's mad like the low barrier of content that we used to put up. But that's the beauty of it, you know. And
Yeah.
then like 5 episodes into that series, where one of the episodes is all we're watching episode 1 of that series, and it
Yeah.
was
Just recycling. Yeah.
just made for us. And
Mhm.
then I went to festivals since 2009, and I vlogged my first one in 2010,
Yeah.
and then just through some happy mistakes, the right place, right time, one of them got ever so slightly picked up
Mhm.
to the tune of like 10,000 views in a year, which was massive for me at the
Yeah. Yeah.
time. I was so proud of that, and I think anyone that achieves that should be very proud of that.
Mhm.
Um, and then it just kind of went from there and there and there, and then yeah, it just kind of became this beast that it is
Yeah.
today.
Here we
It's a
are.
bit
Yeah.
wild, really. It's pretty mental.
Mhm. I mean, I'm sure if young Rob was looking at YouTube and scrolled past and saw like your future self on the homepage, you'd be very happy with where you've got
Oh,
to.
I'd be incredible. I would be 100% satisfied.
Yeah.
The issue is that's young Rod,
Mm.
and as you kind of being in the middle of it, like
Yeah.
I am, your goalposts just keep moving. You know,
Yeah. Mhm.
I remember when we hit 100,000 subscribers a couple of years ago, which was like my ultimate goal. I've got the fuck boy sign on my
Yeah.
on my wall. I've got the plaque, and that's all I wanted. But now I'm already like, what's next? What's next?
Yeah.
You've
Yeah.
got to be.
Of course. Yeah.
And do you know what? Each one is just as important relative to where you are at the time. Like I remember hitting 10,000 subscribers. It wasn't that long ago, really. I distinctly remember it. We did like a
Yeah.
celebratory stream, and that felt just as good as hitting 100
Yeah.
because everything was scaled relatively
Relative. Yeah.
towards that.
That's
It's
great. I'm glad that you're able to still be happy with it because so many people start it. I mean, I'm sure I'm talking to a lot of people. Everyone at the age, I want to say, like maybe in our generation, at least 12 to 15 wanted to be a YouTuber. So I'm glad to see that you've stuck with it and you're still happy doing it because so many people fizzle out. The amount of YouTube names and accounts and Twitch accounts that I've had thinking, yeah, I'm going to stick to this, and then I just don't do it.
I mean,
You know,
me too, to be fair as well.
yeah,
Like it's so easy to not it's so easy to fall off that stuff. Like I've had like
Hmm.
Twitch accounts that I've like I'm gonna do drum stuff,
Yeah.
and then I was gonna do like a Grand Theft Auto centric like channel that I set up and told people about, and then fell at the first hurdle with that.
Yeah.
And I still do want to explore that when GTA 6 comes out. But it is really easy to do that, you know. I've had like fucking Instagram accounts where it's like, right, I'm gonna just document every Nando's that I eat. I eat a lot of Nando's.
Yeah.
And I just give up after like two. I'm like, I can't be asked.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just this was just a real. I've never known any different to this. Like,
Yeah. I suppose you've been doing
which
it for so long. It's just become. It is very literally
it's
just.
just like I don't have an experience
Mhm.
where I'm not shooting it, and it's just second nature now.
Yeah.
It's so we've just got it down to such an automatic response that like the editing is another story. Obviously, the editing
Yeah.
sometimes does feel like work and a chore, and not often, but it does sometimes.
Hmm.
Whereas the actual creation is just it's so ingrained in me from even before YouTube
Yeah.
that like it doesn't even come. It's not even a second thought. And
Yeah.
then obviously super lucky that like not everyone is like super trigger happy on the camera
Hmm.
in our crew, but like we're lucky that some people are,
Yep. Yeah.
and so we've just kind of there's a lot of luck involved with it to be where we're at today, but there's also a lot of hard work, but it's just been going on for so long we just don't know how to do anything else.
Yeah. That's it. I mean, you say it's a lot of hard work, and it most definitely is. Like, you haven't had a Sunday off. You're uploading in months, have you?
Yeah, so almost we just had one after Burning Man.
Right.
So we had Burning Man and then a
Hmm.
second Burning Man video, and then we had a Sunday out, and now we're on fortnightly content.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So we didn't think we would have fortnightly content even. We thought we'd have sporadic uploads, maybe one a month, but we've looked at the calendar and what we've got in the bank and as in like video wise.
Yeah.
And we do have fortnightly still coming, which is a great place to be because
Yeah. Of course.
you've got to please the algorithm.
Hmm. Some kind of schedule. So yeah, you've obviously reached the end of festival season, and you've introduced wild weekends. So as we've just discussed, you've got the Malta one uploaded and out there, and that's what you're talking. You've got those. Or mind you, have you got other bits and bobs, or is it all wild weekend bits?
No, we've got other stuff. We've got an American road trip that we did
Oh,
that's
nice.
like coming in at about 55 minutes long.
Hmm.
And it's kind of slightly cinematic with like a voiceover and like a
Yeah.
nice kind of drone intro. Like, because we always just try and listen to the community and give them what they want.
Hmm.
And when we went to Burning Man, it's like, well, we're at Burning Man for 3 days or 4 days, but we're in America for like 8.
Yeah.
And it's part of the beauty of us just being able to unconsciously just film everything without thinking about it is we can then capture the rest of that trip on camera.
Yeah.
It's not Burning Man.
Hmm.
So we got that coming. That should be up in in about a week or next Sunday. And then there's still 2 more festivals that we've got. So like that's like, top tier
Oh, okay.
main series stuff.
Yeah.
But then probably everything else will filter into the wild weekends
Hmm.
kind of subtitle.
Brilliant. Love to hear it. Are we going to have a return of Hot Twos at any point?
I'd love to do Hot Twos.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Hot Twos.
I loved it. I love watching it. It's great.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was just a bit of fun, It was
Yeah.
something. It didn't take. It was when I had free time at the start of the year. I shot them all in the space of about a week. All the ones that are out there, which was a nightmare on my stomach.
I'll bet.
But it was just a bit of fun. I had a week, and it was like I want to create something. What dumb thing can I do?
Yeah.
But it was such a pain in the ass shooting them.
They
And
look great though.
Thanks, mate. I was really pleased with how they looked, and there's certain like with it being us, viewers of us will know we often get shit wrong. And there's like one where I was wearing the mic. There's one where like one of the cameras stopped recording.
Yeah.
But never say never. I've got the other episode interview questions written out.
Yeah.
But it's whether I get into a space where I've got the time to set it all up. Because even though it looks like nothing, it's a lot of setup and it's all in the living room.
Yeah.
But it's like a lot of work to do. Um, in terms of like Ben, who runs our podcast at the minute,
Yeah.
who's doing a great job. He's doing like one-on-one interviews with everyone starting
Oh,
like
okay.
soon,
Hmm.
and I think I'm the first one. We've not shot it yet, but if anyone did want to see us be interviewed without the chicken,
Yeah.
without
Minus
the
the
rip-off
spicy chicken.
format,
Yeah.
yeah, then that's coming, and
Hmm.
I'm looking forward to doing that because I've said to him like, obviously he's like my mate,
Hmm.
so it kind of doesn't really count as like an interview, I guess. But he's like crowdsourcing questions from the rest of the guys, and I've said like make it difficult, like ask the questions that like, oh
You think I won't want to answer, kind of thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, let's be as like open and honest on it as possible.
Hmm. No, cool. I look forward to that, and that's going to be on View from the Afternoon.
Yeah, it will be.
Cool. Nice one. Right, I'm going to hit you with the trash talking questions now, if that's okay.
All right.
Yours. So, I want to know, the audience want to know, what was Rob Kellas's first ever album?
First album I ever bought on a compact disc from Woolworths
Nice.
um, was the self-titled Gorillaz record.
Very good. Wow.
And it wasn't like I love this album, I need to get it. It was
Hmm.
just a case of it's a great record.
Yeah.
But I must have had a tenner
Hmm.
and I was in Woolworths. And I did really like the first two singles off that record. So yeah, that I got it. I never became like a massive Gorillaz fan.
Yeah.
That was the first album that I bought. I had albums like Burnt for Me before then.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the first album I was ever like handed or in possession of was a bootleg of Eminem's The Slim Shady LP,
Yeah.
which still one of my favorite records of all time. Still
Hmm.
one of my favorite artists of all time.
Yeah. What a time to be alive. Everyone having the flip book of CDs.
Yeah,
I don't think there was anyone who didn't have a burnt CD book.
yeah, good times, wasn't it?
Hmm.
Good times. The guy who made me my burnt copy of Slim Shady LP even hand drew. He was a friend of mine from primary school.
Yeah.
Hand drew the cover art and the liner notes and stuff.
No way. What, like
Yeah,
in the CD, in the sleeve?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like presented to me as like you need to listen to this. I've made you this, and it was like it didn't look like an official release, but like he'd done his best with his pens and his felt tips to make it look official. I wish I had it still.
Yeah. An aspiring pirate. I like it.
Yeah.
It was luckily that, well, I hope they're not going to come and arrest my dad, but it was my dad for me. What was it now?
What, pirating him?
Yeah, what was it called? It wasn't WinRAR. Not WinRAR. What's it called now? Nero.
Winamp? Oh, CD burner software.
Nero CD burner,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it must have been LimeWire. It must have been, and yeah, anything I wanted, it was just, oh, can I have this? Can I have this? But
Good times, wasn't it?
yeah, yeah. Killed a
Good
few
times.
PCs in our time, but yeah, it was all worth it in the end.
It was. I'm a massive nerd. Like
Yeah.
I spend most of my downtime now watching like vintage computing videos, like of like that era and before, and I'm super nostalgic for it. I
Hmm.
love. I like. I've gone to the trouble of like repurchasing my first ever laptop, like the
Yeah.
model that was. Um, installing XP on it, installing like all the shit that I would have had on it at that time,
Yeah.
just so like once a year I can open that up for half an hour and just relive those kind of, just dig my teeth into that kind of
That's it.
that novelty.
Have a few goes on pinball.
Do you know I was never into the pinball?
No, I loved it at school.
No, I never got into the Windows pinball, mate.
Hmm.
What else was on there? I also never understood Minesweeper, and Solitaire was a bit too clever for
Yeah,
me.
I think Minesweeper was just to press any button and pretend you know what you're
Yeah,
doing, to
it
be
was.
honest.
I spent most of my time on MS Paint.
Yeah. Hmm.
I used to love just using MS Paint, just drawing the Simpsons on MS Paint, printing them out.
Yeah.
Simple times, man.
It was easier times. Take me back, for sure.
Yeah.
Right. First album was a banger. Can you remember what your first ever gig
What was your first album?
First ever album was Hybrid Theory, Linkin Park.
Great choice.
Yes.
Linkin Park weren't far behind for me, I'm sure.
Hmm. That's it. I mean, that era for me, it was Linkin Park, Papa Roach. It was all that kind of stuff. Some
Yeah.
41.
It's such a gateway, isn't it? That's
Mhm.
like so many people our age is a gateway into their own identity, I think.
That's it, exactly. I mean, I was brought up, it was all down to my parents. I just remember them, it was music on constantly in the house, but I was brought up with like Ozzy, Sabbath, Motorhead, Meatloaf, Queen, all these kind of things. And my parents had this massive, chunky 5 CD changer hi-fi system.
Yeah, we had one of them.
Yeah, cassette
I think
player in it and
ours was
everything.
3 CD.
Yeah.
We didn't quite have the
No,
five CD
couldn't
model,
reach for
but
the additional 2, no.
no, mate.
But
Yeah, I mean, they've done the Lord's work there, then, haven't they? And it was
mhm,
similar with my parents. You know, I think
yeah,
we all just take inspiration from our parents, and they did a good job. We both of us, I
yeah.
hope.
Look at us now. Yeah.
Hey, look at us now.
Awesome. So yeah, what was your first ever gig?
Good question. There's the first gig where it was a single gig, and I bought a ticket for the gig and went to this gig to see this band was Sum 41.
Oh wow, nice.
And it was quite late. I suppose it was 2010.
Hmm.
So, you know, not super early in my life, but
Yeah.
I'd been to live music before. There was a thing that used to run in Leeds called, which is where I'm from, called Party in the Park,
Right. Okay.
which was put on by a radio station called Radio Air, and that was like it was like Radio One's Big Weekend,
Yeah.
where it was like super relevant pop artists and stars, but it was free.
Yeah.
So we would just go to that every year, me and my friends, from like maybe 2007 onwards. But
Okay.
the first proper gig that I was like, I'm going to this gig, I'm going to see this band, was Sum 41,
Nice.
Manchester Academy,
Ah,
2010.
okay. And you were how old? How old were you for that?
Oh, I'll have been like 18 at that point.
Oh, okay. So you were able to,
you know, not.
you were drinking and whatever, yeah.
Yeah, I probably
Yeah.
wasn't drinking. I wasn't a big drinker back then,
No.
but you know, it wasn't like I wasn't like a young kid. I was of age
Hmm.
for sure.
Awesome. I mean, it's better than mine. My first gig, well, I say better than mine. They're still a quality band, but my first gig was McFly at the Wolverhampton Civic.
Love McFly.
Yeah.
Absolutely love McFly.
Mhm.
First single I bought was McFly, actually.
Oh, was it? Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What song? Obviously.
Five Colours.
Five
Five
Colours.
Colours in Her Hair. The debut, mate. I was there day one.
OG
Seen him
McFly fan. I like
Seen
it.
him a few times,
Mhm.
and really, really, really good.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think there's no shame in a bit of McFly, mate.
No, not at all. I'm sure there's people
Love
with
him.
worse ones, yeah.
Oh, of course.
I just always vividly remember that show, actually. There was this really old woman sat in front of us with tissue in her ears, so she obviously weren't enjoying it as much.
God almighty. Why did she go?
God knows. But yeah, humble beginnings, for sure.
Yeah, love that.
Hmm.
Have you seen him recently?
We saw McBusted when they did
Yeah.
McBusted.
The arena tour was that?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
was that?
Did you get to see
Yeah.
that? Or
Yeah, I went in Leeds. I thought it was great. I think
Yeah,
the McBusted album is ace.
oh, stunning. Yeah.
It's
What's that?
and we'll never hear any of those songs again now that
No.
both bands are separately active.
That's it.
I mean, which is a
Was it
shame.
What Happened to Your Band? That's like played frequently in our house. It's such a banger.
Great song.
Mhm.
And I think that song, I'm pretty sure there's a Son of Dork version, which is like James Bourne's band.
Yeah.
There's the McBusted version, and I think there's like a James Bourne solo version as well.
Oh, okay.
He really hammered it home. that one.
Multiverse. Yeah.
Yeah, very James Bourne. He's very much into that kind of stuff.
That's it. Yeah. Okay. So, what was the best? We're going back to yeah, we're going back to gigs. What do you think was the best gig that you've ever been to? If we can do gig and not festival, that'd be good.
Okay. The best gig
You can do
I've ever
tour
been
if you
to.
want to, because I know you've done
It's
big old tours.
probably Post Malone in Glasgow last year.
Yeah.
It was just I'm a huge Post Malone fan.
Yeah.
And it was just spectacular. And it was a super rare drink, and I know there'll obviously be some correlation here,
Hmm.
but it was a super rare thing where I didn't drink
Right.
because I was so hungover from the night before.
Yeah.
I could barely get myself to the venue for showtime, the Hydro, the arena up in Glasgow.
Yeah.
Um, so I was like quite frail
Yeah.
and stone cold sober. And I think it just tapped into to me on an emotional level, which might sound silly for those not super into Post
Yeah.
Malone, but like he does have the ability to do that on some songs.
Hmm.
And it was just great. You know, I was there with my friend who'd sorted me out with like access to they call it like the golden circle. It's like the front bit.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
because a lot of artists now they kind of paywall that, and it's not like backstage for anyone listening. It's just like being in like the front,
That's it.
closer to the stage
Close
where
to
you.
the. Was it like a walkway? Was it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly like that. And we were in there, and I caught his cup, and then after the show, I like met him over the barrier, and he
Yeah.
like signed my notes app on my phone.
Oh,
Like I
nice.
just thought that'd be dumb. And the show was great, and I had obviously it was a fleeting interaction, but like he kind of we had like a bit of a laugh together
Yeah.
because he's a super nice guy. I'm not saying that from first hand experience, like oh I've met him.
Hmm.
It was a real minimized meeting, but like I've seen how nice he is with people,
Yeah.
and you could tell that when in real life as he was going along the barrier and saying hello to people, and it was just class. So
Yeah.
that's got to be my answer for now.
Oh, that's awesome. That's brilliant. You've just mentioned your signing the notes app. That's just come back to me that you do that. Are you still doing that now? If you have the opportunity.
No, it's very rare that I'll be in a situation where there's someone whose signature I want.
Yeah.
And like that only works in like a real fleeting interaction like that.
Yeah.
Because if I meet someone who like I think asking for a signature is a bit cheesy,
Hmm. Yeah.
personally. And I think I wouldn't want it to cheapen an interaction if I'm having like a slightly longer interaction with someone. If I bumped
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
someone like after a show in a club or in a bar or something.
Hmm.
Um, so I generally don't ever really ask for a signature.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
Post Malone thing, it was like, right, I'm not gonna be able to get a good photo here
Hmm.
with Posty, and if I am, it's separated by a barrier. It
Yeah.
looks like shit, and you know, who am I getting the photo for? Is it for me to post on Instagram and say, "Look what I've done"? Yeah, it probably would be, and it just doesn't really count for me.
No.
You know, it's not very organic. So I was like, "Oh, I'll do that." I
Hmm.
saw someone got Kanye West to do it
Yeah.
by just typing in Kanye
No
into
way.
the notes.
No.
So when I handed it to Post, I was like thinking he would just type his name, but he went to like the pencil thing on notes and
Yeah.
actually
He knows
signed
his
it.
way through around the operating system. Yeah.
Yeah, he does, and that's another thing that like I was buzzing about. I was like, oh, he knows how to
He's
use
an Apple
markup on
guy. Yeah.
notes.
Yeah.
You know, he's definitely an
He's no
iPhone
Android
user.
user.
Of course, he's not.
Look at the guy.
So I just thought it was so funny, and
Hmm.
I need to print that out and like stick it on my wall or something. I've still got the cup that I caught from that night, and
Yeah.
he also was throwing out sunflowers when the song
Yeah. Yeah.
Sunflower plays, and one of our viewers, a lovely lady that I met, had caught a sunflower and she let me have like a cutting of it.
Mm.
So I wanted to grow the sunflower in the cup
Yeah. Hmm.
like when I got home, but the sunflower snippet has turned to dust
Sadly
since.
deceased. Yeah.
Yeah, but I've still got it.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Like it. Right. So I was going to ask what your best festival that you've ever been to was, but you've been to so many. You've answered the question elsewhere. So
It's a different answer every time, though. I feel
just how you're feeling.
yeah.
Hmm.
The best one I've been to, it's kind of a cop out answer because there's like, what is the best festival that I would recommend to people?
Yeah.
Then there's like, what's the best first-hand experience I've had?
Yeah. Go for that. What is Rob Kellas's favourite memory? What festival sticks out in your memory?
It's probably Coachella, which I know is a bit of a shit answer.
No, not at all.
But for me, as like someone who dreamt of going to the place where Grand Theft Auto is
Yeah.
for all my life,
Hmm.
to then go with like four of my best mates in 2022.
Yeah.
And just experienced like an American festival and that culture and that heat and those super huge headliners.
Yeah.
And then everything that retrospectively that event did for us is probably that right now. You know, Boomtown's a better festival to attend.
Yeah.
Glasgow's great. Download's brilliant if you like heavy music and want to be part of a great community. But for me, like, it's a bit of a cop out answer. But Coachella was just so wild that first time we went. Everything was new to us. Everything was such a novelty.
Yeah.
And it was a real moment in time for us that, and we could have retired after that from the content. That was a potential option.
Yeah.
You know, if that video didn't bang, and if we had stopped doing it, we'd have ended on a real great memory.
A real high. Yeah. Well, that's obviously the great thing about doing what you do. Is it's the memories, isn't it? It's not just, speak from first-hand experience, recording things. It's not just, I'll record this so people can watch it online and, you know, everyone can like blow smoke up my ass kind of thing. In years to come, when we're frail and old and whatever, if YouTube hasn't just died for whatever reason, you've got this entire backlog of your life that you can just watch, which is not something that any generation before us has. I suppose they have been able to do, but it's just so. It's going to be so freely available for us to do, like when we're all.
It is literally the reason I started doing the daily vlogs, that or the day in the life. That is the exact mission. I was watching I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. At the end, when someone gets voted off on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, they get like a best bits compilation, and I was like, I'd love one of them. I was like, well, if I'm gonna have, if someone could make one of them, there's gonna need to be like base footage to work from.
Yeah,
and this was like fucking years ago. If I was watching I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, and that was like the catalyst for like start filming some stuff.
Yeah,
not to be a celebrity. There was no connection with like celebrity, and that it was just, oh, it's cool. Some people have got a best bits compilation of their last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I want one of them. Well, I need to.
It needs to be there.
I would like to make them for my friends, and I did. I made like Best of Matty Bridie compilation in like 2010, and he loved it, and that's that's all I needed really. He loved that, and mission accomplished.
Yeah, that's it. You see it in films, don't you? When someone's died or something, it's like, oh, stop recording me, or like these like nice little snippets and whatever. And yeah, it's nice to know that there's going to be Rob Kellas for people to experience when your time's come.
Whether they want it or not,
that's it.
It's going to be there.
There'll be an E4 special, like embarrassing YouTube moments, in at number 9.
Oh God, I could probably fill the whole top 10.
Yeah, that's it. So there you go. Your favourite festival? We're going to go with Coachella, but that's only today's.
That's just today, mate.
Today's answer. So, as I say, we'll do another question just to make it a bit more interesting. If you had to spend the rest of your life at one festival, so like every single day you'd wake up in the All Reliable Decathlon tent, and you had typical festival day, like shit in a portaloo, bands, festival food, festival weather, what festival would you choose?
Oh, you throw me with the weather. I had my answer till you said the weather, because I was going to say Download.
Download's had very dry years.
It has. Probably Leeds then.
Yeah.
Probably Leeds Fest. Yeah. It's had a place in my heart since 2009.
Yeah.
I know my way around it like nothing else. If I'm in this situation where I'm stuck there for the rest of my life, I assume everyone else is also stuck there.
Yeah, that's it.
So I know more people at that event than any other event. Diverse lineups usually.
Yeah.
I assume the lineup continues. Like
imagine
each
like
day there's like a
what would you call it? Like a carousel. So we'll go like month by month maybe. So you'll see the same band next month, same lineup next month, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, class. It'd be Leeds, mate. It'd be Leeds. I know it like the back of my hand. All my people are there. Varied food options, decent nightlife. Weather pros and cons, but there's no extremes of either. Or it's been pretty warm some years, but that's gonna be my answer.
Yeah, nice, love it.
Final answer.
Final answer. He's locking it in.
Yep, locking it
in. Okay, so you're at Leeds. What kind of? We're saying that you're stuck there every single day. Have you got like your breakfast, lunch, and dinner? What would you normally have? I haven't been to Leeds, so I don't know what the choices are. Probably similar to Download, I'd have thought, but I'm wondering if there's like a standout.
I don't eat breakfast very often, ever.
Yeah.
But so I'd probably skip breakfast. But at Leeds, like most of the crew will go for like a traditional like breakfast sandwich or like a all day breakfast like baguette, which I can't stand. I don't want beans. I don't want egg. I don't want bacon unless I can snap it and it's like black.
Yeah.
I would generally have. Well, you get free McDonald's fries at Leeds.
Yeah.
So you can just dip in and get them whenever you want. They're right by the side of the stage. Just like the back end like side of the stage. Just grab some of them whenever you like.
As if.
What else is at Leeds? There's the noodle place. A lot of our guys rave about the noodle place. They've got some spicy stuff there as well. Leeds is probably the one where I probably take the most in terms of snacks. I eat more like stuff from the co-op than I eat from like food vendors. So I'd just go to the co-op probably every day, get a big bag of those salt and vinegar crisps, nice bottle of water, drinking a lot more water lately, load of sweets.
Yeah.
I'm not very, I don't have a very balanced diet.
Yeah.
If it was every day, maybe it wouldn't. Maybe I'd end up collapsing. But that's what I do for the 5 days where I am at Leeds.
Yeah, that's it. Perfect. Right. So tell me I'm wrong, but am I right in thinking you're not much of a movie guy before I move on to that question?
Yeah, I was just talking about this with someone. I just can't. I've seen some great films, for sure, but I just can't commit to like sitting down and watching a film.
Yeah.
It's just something and if I ever do, I'm always glad I've done it. But it's just getting over that mental thing of I'm going to sit down for 2 hours now.
Yeah.
Same with games. I think video games are the #1 art form for telling a story. But I just can't tell myself to sit down and play a game. And do you know what I just did the other day? And I'm playing through The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Which I've played before many years ago. And I'm loving it. And I'm so glad I did pick it up. But it's that motivation to pick it up. And so with films, I find it really hard to allow myself into a film.
Yeah. Okay. We won't touch on films then. We won't do that.
But I've seen some films.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen, I've got a top 10 list.
I've seen a film.
So I've seen a film or two.
Yeah. I mean, if you've got me 5, do you want to do a 5?
What, top 5?
If you can.
I'll have them written down already, mate.
Oh, there you go. I like it when someone comes prepared.
I'm a bit of a kind of, I like to make lists.
You're a list man.
Everything. Yeah, like literally everything. I've got a list for better or worse. Let's have a look. I can hit you with the top 5 straight away, mate.
Yeah. Have you got a top 5 bags of crisps on there as well?
I've got a tier list of crisps. So top 5, starting with 5. Titanic.
Classic.
Went to the cinema to see the re-release when they did it in 4K.
Yeah.
I'd seen it before. Love it. Amazing film.
It is a great film.
Number 4, and the film I watched most recently, or rewatched most recently, Spirited Away.
Oh, okay. There's the Studio Ghibli. Yeah.
Yeah. Just transports you to another world for 2 hours.
Yeah. Nice.
I actually got a new TV recently in prep for GTA 6.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna watch a film on it because it's a half decent telly for the first time in my life. And I put that on, and it looked beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful film. Good choice.
I'd seen it many years ago, many times. Number 3, Cars. I love Cars.
Yeah.
Disney Pixar's Cars. I love it. Not many people's favorite Pixar film. A lot of people don't like it. I think they're all wrong.
Mad for
I
it.
love it.
So is
Being
this
a huge... Sorry, go on.
Is this tiered as in you're putting Cars above the likes of like Titanic?
Yeah. So we're going from 5 to 1.
Yeah, got you.
Cars is... I'm a huge car nerd. I love cars. So seeing like a skilled studio like Pixar were at the time.
Yeah.
with combining with like the car world with an amazing soundtrack as well,
Yeah.
and a pretty decent story for like a kids film
Mm-hmm.
that is also entertaining for adults. I love Cars, and I need to rewatch it.
Yeah. Awesome. Like it.
Next up, number 2, controversial one. This film blew me away, and I went to see it in the cinema 3 times.
Yeah.
And it's my favorite movie of this genre of all time. The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, Rises.
The Dark Knight Rises, mate. And I know people don't like that.
That's with Bane.
It's with Bane.
That's a good one.
And obviously, the Dark Knight was fantastic, and obviously Heath Ledger is super praised and adds a lot to the allure of that film retrospectively. But The Dark Knight Rises was just the one for me. It absolutely blew my mind.
Mm-hmm.
The ending's great. There's a little twist at the end that knocked my socks off.
Yeah. No, it's great. That's the one with the whole he's imprisoned, isn't it? And he's building himself up. No, it's great. I love that one.
Yep. And anytime I tell someone that, I get absolutely rinsed, and I expect to be rinsed by your audience as well. But hey,
I'm there with you.
If we were all the same, it'd be a boring world.
Of course.
And number 1, a film that is just simply the best film ever made, in my opinion, Forrest Gump.
Classic. Yeah.
I love it, man. It's got everything you need.
I was only thinking of this the other day. Like, you can...
It's genreless.
Yeah. It's got like rom-com, some of the best. It's got actual romance, some of the best. The Vietnam section is some of the best war movie visuals and everything.
It's heart-wrenching.
Mm-hmm.
It touches on really real-world topics. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's got a great soundtrack. There's 2 Lynyrd Skynyrd classics in there, amongst a lot of other stuff. The bit where he's like, "Oh, I've invested in a fruit company, and it's the Apple computer stock." Like, the way he was added into all the historic like scenes, and he was on like the talk shows, and he's meeting like President Nixon and stuff. Or was it Nixon? Maybe not Nixon. I can't remember. Oh, it's brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
I love Tom Hanks. I love that film so much. That's my number 1.
That's brilliant, and it's a good top of the list one for sure.
Love it.
Definitely.
Love it.
Perfection. Well, I wasn't expecting to do that, so we'll.
There you go.
Thank you. So we'll have to dive into a few more of these top 5 lists for sure. Just to figure out what your favourite biscuit is, crisps are, and all that business. So we'll get into it one day.
Yeah, for sure.
So okay, so 5 movies we got. Can we do 5 albums?
Yeah, man. Of course we can.
Yeah. Have you got a list for albums as well?
I do. Now, music is so fluid.
Yeah.
And I'm someone who really latches on to like, I'll be obsessed. I've got like the same top 10 artists.
Yeah.
Like for the last 10 years probably.
Mm-hmm.
But for like 6 months, I'll be obsessed with one of them and not give one of them any time at all.
Yeah.
So take this list with a pinch of salt. But I'll start you off with my 5th favorite album of all time.
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar's Good Kid, Mad City.
Awesome.
It's a concept album about life growing up in Compton.
Yeah.
And it just tells such a great story. I was, as a kid, I was obsessed with that life. It sounds strange, but like, I was just the allure of like, not the allure, but like it was so foreign to me that like the gang life existed and of gang violence.
Yeah.
And I listened to a lot of gangster rap. And then Good Kid, Mad City was like a modern retelling of that.
Yeah.
From like a newer generation. And I love that album anyway. Like, first vinyl I ever bought. Start to finish, love it.
Yeah.
But then when Grand Theft Auto Online dropped, about when are we now? About 11 years ago to almost to the day. When I was first hammering through GTA Online, I just had that album on repeat in the background.
Yeah.
And it's just become synonymous now with great memories on GTA Online as well. So so that's number 5.
Was that 11?
Number 4.
11 years ago for GTA Online. Are we really that far?
Yeah, 27th of September, GTA 5 came out.
That was my first day of uni. I remember that actually.
Everyone
was itching to. We were all sat in lecture, like itching to get to the ball ring.
That's so annoying. Yeah. I bet.
And
then 2 weeks after that, the online feature dropped. So it would have been very, very soon,
Mm-hmm.
maybe upcoming. I don't know. It was 2 weeks after. Yeah, I worked at Game at the time, so
Oh,
I
did you?
did like an insane shift selling that, and I was just I think I volunteered quite a few hours,
Yeah.
which you shouldn't be allowed to do, but I was just so passionate about delivering GTA to people, speaking about GTA to
Yeah.
people.
Well, I saw your collection. You
Great.
posted that a couple of weeks back, didn't you? Your GTA
Yeah,
fives.
I've got loads of old Rockstar games
Mm-hmm.
and GTA related shit at my mum's as well. I'm just sucker for it, mate. It's the most consistent thing in my life aside from filming stuff.
Yeah. Awesome.
So Kendrick's at number 5. At number 4, the Eminem Show.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going in pretty rap
Yeah,
heavy.
yeah.
Eminem's third record, the first one that like really connected with me. That like I I I liked what he was on about instead of just his swearing and
Yeah,
being
yeah.
controversial. I used to sit in my room at my mum's when that album came out. I
Mm-hmm.
think it was 2001,
Yeah.
and I used to just play with Hot Wheels. I was probably too old to be doing that, but I was just like, I remember just like racing like 30 Hot Wheels cars, see which one would get closest to the door
Yeah.
while listening to the Eminem Show on repeat.
Mm-hmm.
It was great.
It's
Yeah, I was
nostalgia
definitely too old
that's
to be doing that, thinking
yeah.
about it. But hey ho,
Well, it's the nostalgia that's tied to these albums, isn't it?
it
They
is.
just stick in
It
your head.
is. Then we go a little bit more modern with the Arctic Monkeys' first record. Whatever people say, that's what I'm not.
Nice.
Another concepty type album.
Mm-hmm.
It just hits the nail on the head for like, I'm from Yorkshire.
Yeah.
They're from Yorkshire. They're a bit ahead of me in terms of the years, but we were going out around similar enough times. Maybe only 5 years apart.
Yeah.
And it's just a great record about going out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
what you see, observations, your mates.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Every a seminal album in me learning how to play the guitar.
Yeah.
Those Monkeys songs, they're so easy to play
Mm-hmm.
that they really kind of first times I ever felt like, oh, I've really got this down now on
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
guitar was that album.
Mm-hmm.
Super important record. Number 2 is the second album from the 1975. It's called I Like It When You Sleep, for You Are So Beautiful Yet So Unaware of It. Bit of a mouthful.
Nice. I'm gonna have to
Just
remind
pop.
myself what the front of that album looks like.
It's like pinkish, pink and white.
Has it got two time on it?
It's like, no, that's
No.
way later in their career. That's their fourth record.
Oh.
So not way later, but this is the one that has the sound. It's got Somebody Else, Change Your Heart, Love Me.
Oh, okay.
It's almost a no skips record,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just bliss in my ears.
Oh, She's
It's
American.
just-
Yeah. Please Be
Yeah.
Naked. Yeah.
It is
tunes.
it's just pure serotonin
Mhm.
in my ears.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love it. And obviously I've forged a lot of friendships and we've had some great memories to that record.
Yeah.
Love it, mate.
Mhm.
I would it would sometimes switch into number 1 spot for me.
Yeah. No, I'm there
but
with you for the love for 1975. Definitely, they're just
great band.
yeah,
Great
good all
band.
rounders. 100%.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Got a bit of everything. And then I say it's a bit of a cop out. It's my list, so I can have what I want. My favorite band is Biffy Clyro.
Awesome.
And
Like it.
there was a few Biffy Clyro songs that I knew,
Mm-hmm.
but the album that really got me into them fully is a live album of theirs.
Yeah.
It's called Revolutions Live at Wembley,
Okay.
and it was one day, I'd obviously I'd heard like 3 or 4 Biffy songs from across their catalog.
Yeah.
I was like, I should listen to more of these because I really like these songs.
Mhm.
In fact, many of Horror had become my top played song of all time before I'd even deep dived into Biffy Clyro.
Yeah.
So I went on YouTube and this whole concert was on YouTube. And I watched the concert. I was like, oh my God, every song's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
And that concert is also an album.
Oh, okay.
And I love this album. It's got stuff from across their catalog up to that point.
Yeah. What point was that?
That's it. So Only Revolutions is like 2010
Okay.
or 2009 maybe. But so there's nothing like opposites onwards,
Mhm.
which is a shame. But like it was just such a super important album for me discovering my favorite band.
Yeah.
And when I play guitar now, it'll often be like just a run through of that whole album,
Mhm.
in its entirety with like all the little live bits and intricacies. Like I've got it down just to such a fine
Yeah.
art, and I just love it. It's just ultimate comfort for me is that record. It's got heavy stuff, like thrashing, like heavy headbanging stuff.
Yeah.
It's got super soft and introspective stuff. It's fucking top class, mate.
No,
So that's my number one.
love it. Love Biffy. You say it's up to Opposites?
So just before Opposites.
Just before Opposites. Okay, Opposites is the one with the tree on the front there, yeah?
It is, mate. Yeah.
Gotcha.
One of the best albums of all time, in my opinion, though it clearly didn't make my top 5.
Nice. And you mentioned a couple of those that was like your first vinyl you bought. Have you got an extensive collection vinyl?
Not super extensive. I've probably got about 60, maybe
16.
60.
60. Oh wow.
Yeah. I really liked listening to vinyl in the lockdown.
Yeah.
And I didn't have too much to spend my money on because there was no going on.
Mhm.
So I'd like every payday, I'd pick like I'd say maybe 100 quid of my pay. I'd go on like maybe 4 vinyls
Yeah.
that I'd really like. And I still do like them, and I still buy like a vinyl, like a new release of like an artist I really like. So I bought the new Post Malone record.
Yeah.
But I just don't really listen to much vinyl. But I do like it. I fully buy into like the theatrics and the ritual of putting a record on.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's great.
Mhm.
I've got a nice set of speakers that my dad used to have in the 70s in my living room.
Nice.
And they're pretty cool, and I like listening through them
Mhm.
because I think what else has come through them
Yeah.
in the last 50 years.
Are they the OGs? They're the original
Yeah,
original
like
speakers.
my dad swapped a car for them
No
in
way.
the 70s. And they're not like, I mean, they're pretty impressive things, to be honest. They're big fuckers.
Yeah.
And they weigh a ton, and they're on the ground, they're on the floor
Mhm.
at the minute. But they're not like, I don't know if they're worth anything or if they're good from an audio perspective. They sound good to me.
Yeah.
That's all
Well, they're
that really
worth
matters.
something to you. That's the main thing, and
Yeah,
that's awesome.
they're what brand are they? They're Pioneers.
Yeah, Pioneer.
Which is a brand I've heard of.
Mhm.
So, and yeah, I really do like listening to vinyl. The problem is my record player is next to a smart speaker.
Yeah.
And it's just so much easier to just tell Siri to just play something I like and just get an eclectic mix of whatever.
A bit of everything. Yeah. No, cool. Well, I'm glad that you've got good taste. What can I say? Makes it easier for me to actually converse and
I love
get
it.
on with it. Right. So yeah, it's been brilliant. I really enjoyed talking to you tonight. We just got some.
I've enjoyed being on, mate. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you very much. Just really quick ones. We've just got some listeners have sent in some questions, if that's okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. So we have got Harry has asked if you could build a dream band lineup for a world tour, who would you choose and what style of music would they play? So if we go lead singer, guitarist, drummer, bassist, I suppose.
They'll have to be alive. Sometimes this question has the caveat of like they can be dead.
It looks as though you could choose anyone. Dream band lineup, so anyone.
Cool. I'll have Simon from Biffy on lead guitar.
Of course.
I think he's the most innovative guitarist, the most underrated guitar player of the whole modern rock scene. He's fucking outstanding. So he's no question. Bassist Chris from Muse.
Good choice.
Fantastic bass player. Play pretty much anything. Often his bass will take an equally lead role to the guitar in Muse's music. For a drummer, I'd take because you've got to think how are they going to sound cohesive. Like it'd be easy to put like a Mike Portnoy, but I think of Matt Helders from the Arctic Monkeys, really good at like just making a great noise on the kit. Nothing super technical, but really, really solid drumming. I think he'd lend himself well in that trio that we've got so far. So then it's just the singer, innit? Don't really know what I'd have as a singer. Oh, I'll tell you what, mate. I'll tell you exactly what I'd have as a singer. Post Malone.
There you go. What a setup. And what kind of thing would they be playing? Because obviously you've gone Biffy, Muse, Arctic Monkeys, and then you've gone and chose Posty. But Posty can cover all bases. I mean,
Posty's transcends all genres, so I'd like to think that he would be, as the front man, he'd probably be the driving force behind the vision. And they probably would land. So that it probably wouldn't go anything too far, too like avant-garde
Yeah.
or far from these musicians' comfort zone. It would stay generally in the rock area,
Hmm.
but some of it could, I guess, just like Biffy. It could be just like
Yeah, yeah.
Biffy. It could be like quite heavy or like really kind of muted and subdued.
Hmm.
And I think he could make them work. I'd love to hear
Yeah.
that.
We need to make it happen. I mean,
We do.
saying that he's got such a wide variant of genres and whatever. Thanks to you, I've had his country album on repeat in the car for the
Oh,
past two
mate.
weeks.
I must have the world record for number of times listened to that
Yeah,
album. I'm not even joking. It's been 3 times a day since it come
yeah.
out. No
I mean,
questions. Oh, I love
I'm
it.
not even a country fan. I couldn't tell you any
Me
country
either,
artists I've
really,
listened
mate.
to, but after listening to that, it's just so chill and
It's
yeah,
class.
just singing about cars and beer and
Album of the
you
year,
know what I
mate.
mean.
Album of the year for me.
What a banger! Right, up next we have got Laura Nicholson, and she has asked if you could have any 3 headliners for a festival, dead or alive, who would they be?
Muse. Always have
Yeah.
Muse.
Have I seen them? Yes, I have. I saw them when the headline download that once.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with Muse, in
Hmm.
my opinion. Who else is consistently good? AC/DC. They're just rocking still.
Yeah.
They've got it. One of the most powerful and impressive shows I've ever seen last October. Blew me away.
Yeah.
Would have been my answer for best gig if you hadn't have added the not a festival
Oh,
caveat.
okay.
That's the best single show I've ever seen.
Yeah.
AC/DC.
And that was where was that again? That was Coachella Grounds, wasn't it?
Power Trip.
Power Trip.
Yeah, Power Trip Festival in Coachella Valley.
Hmm.
And then, so what have we got? We've got like a kind of a music kind of weirdy rock thing. We've got a like classic kind of standard rock and roll. It'd be good to have something a bit different, wouldn't it? I can't say Post Malone because we're sick of talking about Post Malone.
Let's just
now.
have Post Malone, everything. Post Malone, Simon Neil, everything.
I'll have the 1975.
Oh, banging.
Yeah.
I'd go to that festival.
It scratches an itch the other two don't.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Perfect festival.
I'd buy tickets. That's for sure.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Awesome. So, final question. We've got A7X Brad. So, how close are TPD to having another member be able to quit their job and join Rob? It says Rob full time, but I believe is Val's there with you as well.
Yeah, Val's is as well. It's a tricky one because, like, in theory, like we could do it now.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing. You know, try and say this in the right way, but there's nothing too big stopping us like getting another 3-4 members of the crew on full time.
Yeah.
It's just who do we pick first of all?
Mm-hmm. I suppose you've got such a wide gang. It's like, what do you do?
Yeah, like so Val's, with all respect to Val's, who does amazing work, Val's kind of fell into it by accident. And there wasn't too much of a discussion about it. I put myself through like a rigorous years worth of thought, calculating that I didn't really even need to. I just wanted to make sure it was the right call and I was doing right by the crew around me, and that I had their co-sign, that I had enough savings built up where if it all went wrong, I could support myself without taking out of the channel.
Yeah.
This, that, and the other. The thing is, like, we've got it working now to such a great degree with the way that it is. Yeah. And if everyone was full time, so the expectation for someone who's full time is to attend everything.
Yeah.
That is like, that's the bare minimum, really.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's expected of me. That's what's expected of Jake. There's some extracurricular stuff that me and Jake do, like editing or like social posts on Jake's case. Mm-hmm. But everyone in the channel has one of those kind of extracurricular responsibilities. Yeah. Whether they're getting paid or not, and they all do a great job. But Mary, let's take Raz for example. Yeah. Raz comes to most things, but would he want to come to everything and be away from home every single week? Yeah. He's got, probably not. We've all got our personal relationships to manage, but it just wouldn't be feasible. I think if financially, if we got to a point where we literally had an abundance of money, then that wouldn't be the requirement.
Yeah.
But while we do all right, to be honest with you, you know, we're very lucky to be in a decent position. But while we're paying people a full time salary, which is a big chunk of what we have in the pot, I think the expectation and the requirements to be at that level don't suit the rest of the crew at the minute. What we do want to do, what I really want to do, and what we spoke about is like get some of the gang to like go part time in their existing jobs, and we just make up the difference. Just because everyone puts so much in, and while no one's like asking for any financial support, and people, you know, we're in a really good headspace of viewing like the experience as the reward for doing it. If you get me, it's like a self-fulfilling thing. It would be really nice to be able to like get Dan out of half of his job. And things like that. And I'm sure we will next year. I'm sure that's going to be something that we discuss and we'll you know, rethink and re-strategize that. Also, just to be candid, like some of the members of the crew are paid really, really well in their conventional job.
So for them to drop it wouldn't be the best
so
choice for them anyway.
They're calibrated to that lifestyle. I've never been a big earner. I've always earned just about where I've always lived paycheck to paycheck. I've never had enough money to make any savings. I'm not to sound like a martyr. I piss my money up the wall, mate. I waste it on shit. But I've never been a big earner. I've always been the best I got to was like average salary, and I was totally comfortable on that in my lifestyle. So it doesn't take a lot out of the pot for me to be on less than average now. You know, but I get to do what I love. Whereas some other members of the team, they've got, you know, they might have a car, they might have a company car. They do. Some of them do. Some of them have purchased property and vehicles relative to their earnings, and we just wouldn't realistically be able to match that. If we could get people on like what I'm on, which is below average salary at my own choice in the interest of protecting the business, then I'd love to do it now. But at the minute, it's all a bit of we're all learning still together in this space as well. Things have got a little muddy over the course of the last year as like financial discussions come into play, and it's always an awkward thing to be in. And you know, some people look at Jake, and there's a conversation I've had one-on-one with these people, but some people in the crew look at Jake, and while they're happy for Jake, they've been doing it for 3 times longer than Jake. Why is Jake in that position? Why? And it's an awkward thing to navigate when you start talking about money and
amongst friends.
You know, you always hear about there's 2 things that come between friends when stuff like starts ramping up, and it's either money or women. And you know, and we've been through a little bit of the money stuff, and everyone's sound and everyone's singing from the same page. Everyone's on the same page, but sometimes there's a little bit of frustration that pops up, and I hate, like, I'll sit with Dan. Me and Dan live together. Dan will be like having a shit time in his job, and I just want him to just be doing what he loves, but then it's like it's a real awkward thing.
I can imagine.
The plan is to get to that point.
That's the end goal.
And to keep working. And my dream is to have everyone comfortable and no one has to be at everything. Because right now, the minimum requirements for being full-time on the channel, they can be quite taxing. And I want to lower that requirement and increase the freedom that would come with being in this position. But we need to keep growing, mate. We just need to keep growing. Keep the pot back, building up. And hopefully we can get a couple more people on in the next year or so, or 2 years maybe.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure you'll get there.
I hope so, mate. I hope so. It really is a blessing to even be in this position myself. Never mind to have Val's on as well, who does a great job. So, but we're really blessed, and if we can get anyone on, we will for sure.
Brilliant. You're smashing it. We love watching your videos.
Thanks, man.
You know, you're also likable. Every single member. It's not even I hope you don't mind me saying this. It's not the Rob Kellas show, and I'm sure that's what you want. Like you want everyone to have their own screen
Absolutely,
time and
mate, yeah.
everything, and it's great that you've got such a wide, varied group. Like everyone's so different in their own way, but then you all get on perfectly, and I think that's why people tune in, because it's like the part of the group, if you know what I mean.
It's the ultimate asset, mate. I'm so grateful and blessed to have these people around me.
Yeah.
You know, as I mentioned at the start, like I'm 32. The four core members of the channel that started the channel with us are all 32.
Yeah.
Me, Raz, Bridie, and Dan. And then the rest of the guys are mid to late 20s. And it's great that we still have this at our age.
Yeah.
We're still all laser focused. We've all got other stuff going on, some more important than others, like Chuck's got a kid. Raz and Bridie have a mortgage and shit like that going on. But we're all still like, we all come together and we all still understand the mission and the goal, and we just make shit happen. And I couldn't do it without them. Literally couldn't. And really blessed and grateful to be in a position with them all.
Yeah.
So I appreciate your kind words and you recognizing that everyone's like, you know, their own cog in the machine.
That's it. All working together to keep the TPD machine rolling. Mate. Brilliant.
That's it.
Right, so we will wrap up. So anyone who's listening obviously knows who you are, where they can find you. But yeah, go for it. Do the thing. Plug yourself. Where can audiences find you?
You can find us on YouTube at symbol TPD. We were really lucky to get a 3-digit one of those. As soon as YouTube started doing those, I swept straight in and got yoink. That. Yeah, so if you've not seen us, or if you've not heard of us, or if any of that sounds remotely interesting to you, then check it out. That would be much appreciated.
Yeah, perfect. Love to hear it. Right, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you for taking the time to come on.
You're doing a great job. I love what you. Obviously, we've met before, and there's so many great creators in this space now. And I've met most of them, and you know, it's great to see, and you're part of a great community. You're doing a great job. I've been looking at your Discord. Just keep it up, man. Keep it up.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate you recognizing that. That's brilliant.
Anytime.
Yeah. If you ever need a loser to show himself off sweating, eating hot food, have me on Hot Twos as well.
Perfect. You can join the list of losers that we've already had.
There you go. In good company.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Right. Thank you very much. Take care.
My pleasure.
Bye.
See you soon. Bye.